This is the Mountainside Podcast, and joining us in studio for this episode are two of my friends, retired Navy SEAL, Bronze Star, and Purple Heart recipient, Bo Reichenbach, alongside Sicario, his one-of-a-kind service dog who always lightens the mood wherever Sicario goes. Bo is currently the Director of Veteran Programs and Community Outreach at Parker's Platoon. Also in studio joining us alongside Bo is DJ Parker. He's the Executive Director at Parker's Platoon and one of the many backbones that helps veterans transition, whether they're active duty or post-military career. This was an absolute awesome time getting to hang out with these two guys for a few minutes. It's been a bucket list of mine to get both of them in here at the same time. It was a great conversation, and enjoy the episode.
Just talking shit immediately.
The best, dude. I'm so pumped to have you two sitting in here. This is only the second time that we've done this, and the first time, I'm not going to lie to you, we had a ton of technical difficulties, but I think we got it streamlined now.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this pans out. But I'm just stoked to have both of you in here. I've known you, Bo, for probably a little over a year now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When was Ice Wars?
That was back in July last year, I think.
Was it?
Yeah. Up in Cheyenne? Yeah.
Okay,
July.
so yeah, almost a year.
Yeah, about a year now.
I think that was the first time I met you. What a fucking crazy event, dude.
Holy shit, that thing was a shit show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a good time for sure.
Ringside seats, the dashers were breaking.
The dashers were breaking. We're in the middle of a country western bar with a casino and a waterfall. I was like, where the fuck are we?
Bro, they had a stripper pole in there? I didn't see any strippers.
I missed out on that part.
Yeah.
I definitely missed out on that part. I didn't
they
see
had a
that
full
one.
on, I want to go back up there just on a normal, there's got to be a bike week or something, or when guys are running to Sturgis or something. I bet you that place.
Yeah, that'd be
is
super fun to go
wild.
check out.
Yeah. Yeah, look up the Outlaw Saloon, Jeremy. This place is something else.
It literally looks like a truck stop.
Yeah.
100%. It's brutal.
I think it is.
What a great name, too.
It's total biker
just-
bar.
it-
The headline for it, the world famous outlaw biker bar or something.
I don't know. I have no idea. Cheyenne, Wyoming, though, was a little bit of a reach for me.
Wait a sec.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's the spot. Yeah, that place was cool. We had a good time there that night, man.
Yeah, we had a great time.
You guys were talking about it like it was all rowdy. And all the pictures I went and looked at, I'm like, it looks like a nice establishment.
It was so rowdy.
Well, people just get a little bit rougher. I mean, as soon as you cross that Colorado line, right? I mean, Bo, you're up in Montana.
Yeah.
True. And then you had alcohol.
Then you
And
add
fighting.
Then you add a little ice arena in the middle of it.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
hell was going to break loose in there.
With Chief Big Snake. Remember
he
that
was
dude?
Awesome. I was like, look at
That
this.
dude was like
monster.
330. He was probably 7 foot on skates, dude.
He was
because he
huge.
had to be like 6'8".
He was a monster. He scared me. He walked by and I was like, Jesus Christ, look at this
Hell yeah.
human being, Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, that was crazy. Good time. Thanks for the invite, man.
Oh, of
It was
course,
totally worth the trip.
This dude, is this what you saw up there? This guy?
Yeah, some of that. I mean, there was a few of those running around. I think Scott Parker was probably the scariest dude in there, but
I'm going to go with Eric Goddard.
yeah, he's so nice though. He's all clean cut,
Right.
no tattoos and
But he's a killer. Like an
I
absolute
know,
killer.
yeah.
Honestly, when I first met Eric
Sicky.
Goddard, I was like, buddy, I feel so bad for you. He's like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, I'm so sorry that he hurt you the way he did. Meaning like parts, And he's like, oh, don't kid yourself. I got my licks in too. And I was like, I don't think you ever want to fight. He's like, I never lost one. What are you talking about? Like Godsey. I was like, oh my
Right.
God, buddy, you're nuts.
That was pretty cool. I got to hold both your mom came over and just handed me both the rings. She's like, here, check these out. And I was
Oh, the
like,
Stanley Cup rings?
Yeah. So she had Gotti's and then Parksies.
Yeah, that place was a hellhole.
So I guess to catch the listeners up, to introduce you guys, DJ Parker. What's your title at Parker's Platoon?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's
Just
actually
kinda-
I call myself the executive director, but
Yeah. Well, let's just get down to
Creative director. Right?
creative director. Yeah, there you go.
Let's get down to the organization. It is like no other nonprofit that I've ever dealt with before, and I've dealt with a lot, right? Like we've had a lot in here on the podcast. I try to donate as much time as I can
Thank you for that.
to nonprofits that benefit veterans, and I've been through some bad ones and I've been through some good ones. And in the last couple of years, I've recently just kind of steered away from most of them unless I personally know the people that are running them, because I've been fucking burned a couple times,
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
which really sucks. But knowing you, Scott Parker, knowing Bo now, knowing Francesca, like you guys are so fucking solid, and I think your guys' foundation needs more help than you guys actually put out there that it needs.
Yeah.
But what you do is amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's above and beyond what your normal, I guess, with some of the nonprofits that I've had in the past, that I've dealt with in the past, it's like they're giving these veterans lump sums of money, thinking that that's going to solve the problem, and that human connection is kind of lost, right? And like I'm sure that goes a long ways, and I'm sure you're grateful to get it right at the start. But then, you know, I think the thing that I found with all the veterans that we've had on the podcast, even the active guys, is kind of the human connection and the bonds that you guys build, and how much you guys are there for the actual people, the beneficiaries or the recipients of this, in just their everyday lives, whether it's, you know, helping their son excel at hockey, or, you know, helping with transportation, or something comes up. I mean, shit comes up in life like constantly, right?
Yeah,
so
quickly too.
Yeah.
Quickly.
So you never know what's going to happen, but like providing service dogs, just kind of whatever the guy needs. Right.
Yeah.
And there's no requirements to be a recipient at Parker's Platoon. Really,
There's definitely
right?
requirements.
Yeah.
The first one's be a good person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like, some of these nonprofits are like, you have to have served in this time period.
Yep.
You have to be from this branch. You have to be from this sort of like community. You know, there's a lot of politics involved.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of politics involved, but excuse me, but coming from a professional athlete family with my dad and winning a Stanley Cup, and we're so proud of him. But really who we are as a family is because of how my parents were raised. I had grandfathers on both sides that served in Vietnam, two different sides of the community as the veterans. And we just wanted to do something as a family to give back and help people. That's our thing. We want to provide a good life. We want to help our friends and just succeed, you know? So it's definitely a really fun aspect of life to be able to, I don't know, it's just humbling to even talk about, because it's not about the charity, you know, it's about the people. And
100%,
just
yeah.
creating that sense of tribe and being able to just, I don't know, enjoy life and show people what life is really about. It's not about Stanley Cups. It's not about money and fame. It's about family and transparency and kindness, and literally just going the extra mile to just help people.
Just love, man.
Yeah, just show
a little
love.
bit of love.
Just be kind and show love. You know, if Bo calls and says, Deej, I need something, I'm doing it. You call me Bobby, I'm doing it, because that's my tribe. And in the world that we live in nowadays, it's just, I don't know, it's heart-wrenching to see the way the world is.
Yeah.
You know, and when you find the people that you can take care of and show love to, then you really hold on to that. And I think that's what Parker's Platoon really is. It's a brotherhood is what we are. We're a brotherhood.
Definitely. I mean, you know, me being on the initially on the recipient side of it, and you know, meeting Scott and coming into Parker's Platoon, you know, being able to get Sicario, and how that changed my life, and join the family and really becoming a family. You know, everything's oriented. What can we do for you? Not like, oh, here it is, see you later. And then moving on to help me get access back, you know, working for the nonprofit I work for, also, you know, building homes, transportation, be able to make my life easier, to better my life for my son. And then, you know, now to this point, being able to help with tuition assistance for him to go to private school, play hockey, and, you know, it's taking care of the family and continuing and helping give, like, the veteran the tools to succeed, and, you know, not just the one-time thing to where it's, you know, one and done, and now what do I do with this? Like, yeah, I could get a big chunk of money, but if I don't know how to use that money, and, you know, just to be able to have that family and people you can count on, that's what Parks Platoon is.
That's awesome, man. And I think, like, the one thing that I've noticed, and the one reason why I put in the effort to work with you guys, is you're great fucking people, man.
Thanks,
I love
bro.
being around you.
Thank you.
And that's half the battle, right? Like,
Yeah.
you want to be around the people that are supporting you. You know, you want it to feel like a family.
Of course.
right? I mean, especially if you want that love there, right? Like you
course.
want that unconditional love. And then I think the coolest approach to it too is just, like we were talking a few weeks ago, Bo, you and I, and the most important thing to you after everything that you've been through and your deployments and the time that you served and your injuries and everything, it's not really about yourself and what you're receiving, right? And the help that you need. It's more about like your legacy going on.
Yeah.
And then more importantly, your son, right? Setting up his future, man. Like my kids are the most important thing to me in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
something, I want them to succeed.
What all was this for if we can't, give them a better life or show them tools, what it takes to overcome something and give them the opportunities to excel and, make this world great still, like, and give them the opportunity to continue to serve and either help veterans or go on and do something great and be able to, share all that love and that, all that with the world. I mean,
yeah. And not to mention Landon is just like a stand-up, like
Such a
there
good
couldn't be a better kid. I
Yeah.
don't know if we were supposed to drop his name. We
No,
can
you're
bleep that out, but
yeah, no, definitely.
But man, and he's excelling at hockey, right? At a rapid pace, like just accepted to Valor. And that's one of the reasons why you're going to be splitting some of your time down here. And Landon's going to be living down here,
He is.
right? To play hockey.
Guess who his billet is? So,
DJ Parker
So,
and Parker's.
Oh, shit.
oh my God, right? Here we go. So Bo and I were talking in Florida, and he said, "Oh my God, I think Landon's going to get into Valor." I was like, "Oh shit!" Like that's awesome, man. And we're trying to figure out like living arrangements and where he can go and how we can help. Of course, like Bo isn't a veteran to me; he's my brother. So whatever he needs, I'm going to help him. And some things had fall through the cracks, and I was like, you know what, Bo? If you need me to come back to Colorado from Florida, I'll move back and I'll do it. And he looked at me, he's like, what? Really? I was like, oh, I just opened up the can of worms on this one. So, but like, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Like, we have to help each other.
Well, and you and Landon have a friendship too. It's not just like, I mean, he is for a 16-year-old, he's not your typical 16-year-old, man. That kid is growing up so much. And I think a lot of that is facing some of your adversities that you had to face coming back, from that deployment and what happened to you.
Yeah, he grew up. He grew up around Navy SEALs, and then I was injured. He was 5 years old, and then he grew up the next 2 years around all these wounded guys. I have a couple buddies that are quadruple amputees, double amputees, triple amputees, but he spent his life getting to know them, hanging out in the gym PTing, to experience those things and overcome those things at such a young age. It's really made him super mature. He's quiet, humble, working hard, and and that goes back to like the legacy thing. Me as a father, I want to be able to provide him any opportunity. If he wants to work for it and wants it, I'll do anything to make it happen for him. And to be able to, to have the support that Parker's platoon gives takes a ton of pressure off me, and then just reminds me of what we did all this for, and it's worth it, and everything was worth it, and I'd do it again.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate it too, man. Like, this, I love you, and dude, it doesn't go unnoticed, man. Like, for sure.
It's very special.
The coolest thing about Landon too, and I think, even though he didn't have the ideal childhood, right, having to deal with a lot, right, and see a lot, is it forges him into a man to be a badass in the future, right? Like, yeah. I mean, those things, like, I didn't grow up with the perfect childhood, and I'm pretty good guy, like
you're pretty decent.
Sometimes,
you're pretty decent. Yeah, you're all right.
Every once in a while. I mean, I try to be, right? And
yeah.
I think if I would have grown up with a pampered life and the perfect life, I might not be the same person. I might be some little asshole or something,
Yeah.
or like, who knows? I might be dead,
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that there's something to take out of that. I guess what is Landon's? Is his goal to be a NHL hockey goalie? Is that?
he wants to, you ask him all the time, he's like, I want to take this as far as I can. And, he wants to put the work in. And, this day and age, us coming from Montana, it's pretty tough to be seen and get out there. And so with hockey, you have to be able to put them in the right positions to be able to be seen, get the proper coaching, the proper training, conditioning, off ice, eating, all that stuff. And, for him to have that opportunity to go to school at Valor and also get the education that he can get there too.
And it's right down the street from DU. I don't know if that's
Well,
the Pioneers are on the radar at all, but
well, that Valor coach was the old DU coach.
Right.
So it really helps him out.
Yeah.
I want to say his name because I'll absolutely murder it.
Yeah, those French Canadian names are tough. I don't know. Is he French Canadian or
I
is
don't
he?
know.
Okay.
I know everybody calls him Guaz. Then
Yeah.
I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there because I don't want to murder that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. What a great opportunity. And then you got Scott and these guys, that help coach and just help. I mean, you guys are going down later today, right?
Yep, we got
Hit
landed
the
some
ice
ice
and-
with some NHLers that are in the off season already, and start firing pucks at them.
Hell yeah.
Let them see it in a different angle and a different speed. So.
You got to get Army down there, dude.
Got a couple.
God. Not the gunslinger, man. don't poke the bear.
That
with
was
him.
another fun night. Holy shit,
God.
dude.
Yeah, they have a little spring camp coming up this next week, and obviously still got to make the team, but to be able to get him down here, in Montana, we lost our ice 2 weeks ago, so he hasn't even been able to be on the ice, as much as most kids. So
Is it outdoor there primarily?
No,
Or? Okay.
our rink just has to shut down for the summer.
Gotcha.
So to be able to get him out here with couple of the old guys, retired guys. My brother's gonna be able to be there too. He played in the ECHL and the AHL as a goalie. So to be able to get him a little ice time before camp's super good. And the Parker's platoon has been able to rally around and show up and be there for him for that.
That's awesome.
It's fun.
Well, let's talk about your hockey career because, I mean, you played prior to going into the teams, right? Can we dive into your background a little bit?
Yeah.
And then DJ, we got to get into yours too. I got some
God.
questions for you, dog.
All right, sounds good, buddy.
Yeah, I grew up playing hockey in Montana and primarily up in Canada. Our team was pretty competitive back then out of Billings, Montana.
Were you born and raised in Montana? Or?
Yeah, born and raised in Billings, Montana.
Nice.
I was a goalie as well.
That's unusual too, man. There's not too many people that live up there now that are from there, right?
Not so much Billings. I feel like a lot of the younger kids get out, go to college somewhere else, or more of the college towns in Montana. But yeah, I grew up playing hockey there, and when I was 16, I got into a little trouble with the law, just hanging around the wrong group of kids, and the consequences of that trouble, I had to I got kicked out of school and had to go to a military academy, and that's where I was first introduced into like the military lifestyle and starting to think about what I was going to do next with my life. I always wanted to do more. I wanted to take hockey as far as I could too, but my actions had destroyed that for me at that time. So started looking to see what the next best thing was for me, and then starting a family at 19, finding out that about to have a boy.
That's wild. That's young. Yeah.
Then having him 14 days before leaving for boot camp.
Wow. Yeah, that's I don't know. My hat goes off to any parents that can make that work that young, man. I started having kids in my 30s, and it was still hard, you know? And I was established like grown-ass man at that point.
19.
Yeah.
Going into the teams.
But
Yeah.
Lennon was a good kid back then too, and his mom was really great mom, and so we had the support, and he's always just been a good humble kid, never getting into any trouble and working hard, and it's really starting to pay off.
So I guess, how old was he when you first started like deploying and stuff like that? Was he old enough to remember it?
He would have been in, we deployed January 2012. He was, I think, about, let's see, So he would have been about 4.5 at that time. And then he had his birthday while I was gone. And then I was injured July 17th, 2012. And then finally got to reconnect with him probably about 2 months after that, because I was in like medically induced coma and stuff, going in and out of surgeries, after the amputation of the legs.
On that a little bit, and I don't want to dive into that too deeply unless you want. If you want to, we certainly can. But stepped on an IED, third in patrol, right? Just on a normal kind of day, unexpected, and that resulted in you losing one leg at the time, right? And then going through over 150 surgeries, right? You've been through kind of to get rehabilitated, and still, I mean, it's still kind of a constant battle, right? With everything.
Oh, definitely. There's, even just recently I had I still have shrapnel in me, and I had gotten an infection and ended up in the hospital recently because of it, just kind of out of the blue. But just kind of goes with it.
Yeah. It's the new normal a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I think it's important for people to hear that so they can relate to what's going on. And for me, to get personal on my own level, man, it is very humbling, and it puts my life in perspective to know guys like you and know guys, that have gone. I know multiple guys that are double amputees or triple amputees now, working with some of these nonprofits and some of my friends and some of the bow shoots that we've been to. And, some of these guys can do stuff on their prosthetics that I can't even do with two able legs, man. Like my boy Caleb Brewer can jump rope on his prosthetics one-legged, and I'm like, fuck, man, what is my excuse, dude? Like, I'm such an asshole, and then just like, not even to bring this up, but just you're such a badass, dude. This place is not ADA to get in here, and you're like, fucking don't worry about it, dude. Like, I was nervous about it, right? I was like, fuck, man, I want this place to be set up right, and like ultimately someday we'll have an ADA studio, you know what I mean? But it's just, whatever's in your way, you fucking kill it, dude.
You got it. I mean, you can just lay over and die, or you can keep fighting, and like we talked before, my boys, the reason why I've always kept fighting, not every day is easy. There's struggles, there's tough days, but when you get to that point, you got to stop thinking about yourself and thinking about your, what you can do for someone else, or there's people who still need you, and my boy still needs me, and I plan on being around here till I'm old as shit and he's having to take care of me.
Oh, I still need you, dude, because I fucking, every time I'm with you, dude, I have a great time. You make me laugh, and that's fucking awesome, man. So coming out of all those surgeries, like, how long was the recovery time? Was it a couple of years?
Well, actually, originally I was, from date of injury, was 13 weeks. I started walking in prosthetics, my short legs, after being blown up. And
13 weeks?
Yeah,
Damn,
that's
dude.
after surgery's my legs were finally closed up, stitches pulled, 13 weeks. They got to let all the muscles and everything bind and heal, and you slowly start your rehab process to go into prosthetics, and you start in your short legs, and then you work up to tall legs, just working on that strength and conditioning, and figuring out how your muscles work different in your legs now. And so, but that was the initial steps, but until I was retired, and about 2 years worth of rehab of being there, being able to learn to run, whatever different type of activities you wanted to learn. And during that time is when everyone found out that I used to play hockey and was a goalie. And then then the Sled Hockey Team, the USA Warriors, they started bugging me, and like, we want you to come play hockey. And me at first I was like, no, it's never going to be the same. I played hockey my whole life. There's no way playing a sled's going to do it for me.
Yeah.
And so it took a couple of the guys probably 2 months before they were like, just come out.
Had you met Scott Parker prior to that, or was it?
Hadn't met Scott yet.
Okay.
meeting Scott was shortly after this at a fishing event. So back to that, they got me on the sled, and then I was like, I fell back in love with it immediately. Being in the hockey rink, the smells and everything, and then was on the goal to see how far I could take that. Was I could. Played for about 5 years and spent 2 of those on the USA development team and one of them on the Paralympic team, and had a blast. And then that's about the time that my son started really excelling in hockey, and I couldn't miss his hockey anymore. Me playing hockey, I was gone the same weekends he was, and so stepped back from playing myself to watch him.
Don't let me kid you. You won a gold medal too, didn't you? In the Pan American Games?
Yeah, the Pan American Games up in Canada.
He always leaves out the good shit.
I know.
Always.
It's like
always leaves out the good shit.
No idea that you had a bronze star the other day until like it came up. Like I think I don't think you should hide that shit, dude. Like I know that you're not a guy that. Yeah. This is hard for you being on here. Yeah. I think, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's never about Bo.
Never.
It's never about Bo. So
it's about Sicky.
Play it, yes. Shout out Sicky in studio too. So if you hear like some panting or some heavy breathing, oh yeah, got to get Sicky on camera there.
There he is.
Yeah, you need some headphones, Sicky. Eat that fucking microphone, huh?
He will too.
Yeah. What all is he eating? These dogs are famous for
the most expensive eat was when he ate
ball.
a half of a tennis ball, and it was about $4,000 to get it out of his stomach.
Oh,
well, you can tell Bobby that story. That was intense.
Okay, so Sicky or Sicario, right? Mm-hmm. Full name. Belgian Malinois, badass dog, goes everywhere with Bo. I mean, this dog was ringside with us at the ice fights and like dasher boards breaking. And for these dogs, what they're known for is just being the fur missile, right? The fucking badass, like attack, bomb, super smart dogs. But Sicario is the biggest sweetheart. I'm sure that could be turned on at some point, but like, I mean, being in the middle of a hockey fight and having the dasher boards break right in front of you and not even like,
not even budging,
not even caring what's going on.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Didn't care at all.
Yeah. He's super chill, but super, he can go and he can fight and he can bite, and but he's got the best of the best qualities I think you could find in a Malinois, like the chillness, you could do anything with them, good with little kids, and then he can turn it on. So
I love being around him too, man. Like dogs make everything fucking better, dude.
So much better.
Yeah. My dog is the only thing that unconditionally loves me when I come home from like a long trip.
Yeah. Like
my kids are like, oh, dad's home, like they're excited, but my dog is a blue heeler. They have a lot of the same mannerisms as like a Malinois a little bit, like high energy. She starts doing backflips and pissing everywhere. And I'm like, I can't even greet her in the house because I'm cleaning up piss for half an hour.
We love Bo.
Right.
We love him, but we get so excited to see Sicky.
You're right.
Like, oh, hey, Bo, how are you? Good to see you too, buddy. Like, come here, Sicky.
He brings so much to the table, in the beginning, this all starting, with Scott and Francesca being able to give me Sicario, and kind of where I was at in life during that time. It was tough. You kind of was going through a divorce and like not sure what I wanted to do with my life anymore, like bored, nothing really excited me, and him giving me purpose, something to do, and if you're sitting around bored, he'll come and nudge me like, let's go, but like if I'm sick and hurting in pain, he'll just lay on my legs, won't bother me, and that really started getting me kind of out of my shelf, doing more, and then now we literally travel to Florida every other week.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
You got a partner in crime now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, that's helping me through the tough times. And, I credit him, me still being here, and, my boy, and, Parks Platoon for being able to make that happen,
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that initially Scott got this dog for Francesca. And, Francesca, being the mom she is, calls me up, and would you be interested? And started telling me about Sicario, and then
It's kind of weird how shit like this happens, because if you
Yeah.
hear the story, it's almost like a God-given gift. I mean,
3 days
really.
later, 3 days later, she had him up to me. It was, and that was never the original.
That was never the plan. It was for her.
Never the plan. It was for her. And then,
And you had kind of called her out of the blue, like thinking that you might want a dog, right? Like it was, or
we
I
had
don't know
talked
how
about
the
it.
conversation
she
come up.
called me because she,
Well, that's what she does. She checks in on everybody, man.
100%.
100%.
She's the best.
Thank
She's
you.
the best woman.
Seeing where I'm at, and I think about that time too, not playing hockey anymore. So I think she knew, obviously being with Scott, how life changes when something you love, you're not doing anymore or gone. How do you get out of that? How do you get?
So this was
past that.
post hockey, post gold medal. Like, that's so badass, man.
Sicario would have a crazy story if he could talk. Oh man,
Oh, I bet.
quite the stories to tell. 100%.
Hell yeah. So Francesca gets this puppy from Scott, right, as a gift.
Mhm.
And she calls to check up on you, and 3 days later you have her puppy at that point, basically, right?
Yeah, we just started talking, and I initially I had no idea what her intentions were. Just like sometimes
You never know.
You never
No.
know.
You never know with
She
her.
has she
She's
has
gangster
a plan.
as
She
fuck,
has a
dude.
plan.
Yeah.
And just knows what questions to ask. What
Well, let's.
I got something for you.
She's a retired police officer of what, 20 years?
Yeah,
or-
20 plus years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So she knows what's up.
Yeah,
She does.
definitely.
She's probably seen some shit. I got to get her in here at some point, man. Like,
My mom's a lot like Bo, but even worse. She doesn't ever make it about herself. She doesn't
Oh,
want
no.
Never.
the fame, never wants the notoriety, but quite honestly, she's the reason that Parker's Platoon continues to exist, because she's a mom to so many people. Like, I'm an only child, and I'm blessed to be an only child because my best friend is my mother. And Scott, he's an incredible human being. I love them both. But she's really the glue that kind of keeps everything together, whether it's the charity, the businesses, other veterans. I mean, she does it all. It's incredible.
I mean, I've even been on the phone with her and ask her how she's doing, and she'll start telling me about Bo or you or Scott or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? She
Yeah.
just totally diverges the question, So it
never
is
makes it about
all
herself.
about, yeah.
And that, like what DJ's saying, never makes it about herself. Most people don't know this because the Parkers will never tell you that probably 80% of the stuff that they've done or more has been out of their own pocket. And that's, that's like our biggest thing that we, all the support I've been given and where we want to go with this foundation and do this for so many more people, it takes money, so, we've got to, our like goals now. And,
Well, I'm going to put this out there right fucking now. Go, if you're listening to this and you're a fan of this podcast, this is a stand-up, you have my word, nonprofit organization that truly helps. I personally donate whatever I can every month.
Thank
And
you.
it's recurring. It's easy to set up. All you have to do is go to the website, parkersplatoon.org, correct?
Yep.
Go to the donate tab. You can set up a recurring payment. You can read about the Parkers. You guys throw badass events occasionally, or
We do.
at you're very accessible. There's an Instagram page. And listen, man, like, if you don't have the means to donate, there's other ways to donate. Like, I would love to donate $1,000 a month to this,
Thank
but
you.
I personally can't afford
Of course,
it, right?
anything goes a long way.
But we're
Right,
we're
but-
looking at it. We've been we set a goal for ourselves: $12 a month, 1,000 people. That goes such a long way
so far.
to be able to we have other buddies in the special operations community and their families just that need support in certain things for their kids, like the legacy. Like this is how we can keep the legacies of these guys alive and keep doing these things.
Well, I think the other thing too is that as we've grown as a charity and as a family, we've realized, because of guys like Bo, that it's not sometimes just about helping the actual veteran itself. It's also about helping their family.
Yeah,
Because
you
that also
guys
helps-
fucking get
that
it,
also
man.
helps, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's such an important aspect that we've learned because of Bo and because of Landon and other veterans. Like, we have incredible guys, and it's turned into the special operations team. You know, Bo tells one SEAL, the next SEAL tells the other, and and it just blossoms into the special operations brotherhood that we've created. And we didn't mean to. It just naturally grew into that.
It's not shuff on how many we can get through,
No.
because I've been a part of a ton of amazing foundations that have done great things, but I think the one thing that gets lost that Parker's Platoon has found a way to cover down on is that family aspect, and being able to build these legacies that
Well, that's the most important thing to you and me as a father, whether you're a veteran or not, is you want to see your kids succeed, unless you're a total piece of shit and don't care.
Yeah, of course.
Like there are people out there that are like that. But I would say 98% of the people in this world are good fucking people, and what they care about is their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So if something's going on with my kid, I'm probably more worried about it than they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so from a mental standpoint, like, I get it. That's why you guys have been able to understand it too, right? Like,
Yeah.
that probably helps you more than anything, like, because not to mention that the people that you're helping are some of the most selfless people in this world that have basically, signed on a dotted line to go kill bad dudes, man.
Sacrifice it all.
Yeah, to protect us so we can sleep in our beds at night.
So we can do exactly what we're doing right now.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So I think that that's probably the number one thing that these guys would want, I think, if they have children. And if not, I mean, just getting out and getting outside of what you guys do, like taking guys snowmobiling or fly fishing or on a hunt. Like, you've been on a couple hunts, right? And
yeah, I have.
Yeah.
And, those type of things change your life and, like, get you back out there. Like, there still is cool things to do, because my toughest thing at the beginning after all this happened, like, well, I'm not going to be a Navy SEAL anymore. We'll always be a Navy SEAL, but jumping out of airplanes, diving, and being with your buddies and the stuff you get to do, and the deployments, all that. Initially, you think that's all gone. Like, what do I do now? And the steps through Parker's Platoon is being able to put me in those positions and do the things, and realize, like, that there's so much more to this, and like you were saying, the nervousness for our kids. I asked Landon the other day, like, how you feeling about Valor, the situation, the move-in? And he's like, I'm kind of nervous, nervous about schooling, and, until you get into it. And I'm like, I feel you, because I'm a million times nervous. Not a lot in my life.
yeah.
Just made me nervous, and had the tools, becoming a Navy SEAL to handle nerves pretty well. But when it's my boy, like, I may not show up.
It's a different level, right?
I'm sitting
Definitely.
over here, like, sweating, like,
Right.
just I want the best for him.
100%.
You should have seen Bo and I in my house down in Florida doing all his admissions paperwork together. Literally sitting on the floor together.
You two?
Like, oh, yeah, the two of us idiots.
You guys should have hired a lawyer or something.
We did. Her name was Francesca Parker. Her name was Francesca Parker. We had her on FaceTime. Like,
Right.
What does this mean?
Right.
We're two grown adults. Like, oh my god, we're so
How do you
fucked.
spell aptitude?
Yeah.
This is not,
We
not
chat
my
GPT this.
expertise, but that's what
That's
Parker's Platoon does. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
family, like,
Little things.
Yeah, and
It's really blossomed into something else too, and we have active team guys that I won't say their names or their team, but
Yeah, I know. I was actually on a text thread with him or something the other morning. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, this
and
was...
we just hosted them back in January, and with the kindness of a friend of ours by the name of Adam Contos, who was the CEO of Remax for Dave Linegar, who is the owner, founder, creator of Remax. We told Adam that we're bringing this team in, pre-deployment, and Adam called us back like 3 days later, and Dave donated his private ranch to us. He said, this is for Parker's Platoon. Take the guys.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at with donating. Like, I've donated some of my time to help you guys out with, like, some video projects and stuff like that. And, don't expect anything in return, right? Like,
100%.
just do it.
Just being kind.
But shit like that can go a long ways. If you own, maybe you don't have $12 a month, but maybe you have $800,000 1,000 acres outside of Grand Lake, and you
Yeah.
know, you have the water rights to it or whatever, right?
You
Like,
just want to do something
yeah.
nice to help.
That's continuing to serve. I mean, I know we talked about that the other day. You know, a lot of people out there like, well, I didn't sign on the dotted line. I couldn't serve my country, and that is so far from the truth.
Yep.
You know, being able to just be a good person, serve your neighbor, serve your friend. You know, be able to support foundations like this and do things like that. That's service to your country. You know, and that's, you know, I think that's like the biggest call to action, being able to do what you can in, you know, and if you can't do something, share. Maybe
Yeah.
you know someone that can, and and being a part of that.
well, and don't be afraid to reach out to you if you have some sort of skill or talent or something that you think might help. You guys are, you know, acceptable of that too. I mean, money
course.
is
Yeah.
the biggest thing, right? So you guys can do
Yeah.
what you need to do, but and you don't even have to get to the $12. I encourage everybody to do a minimum of $12 because there are a little bit of fees that are involved with that, right? And that kind of helps cover some of that, so you can actually get like $11.35, I think.
Yeah, the transaction fees. But
Yeah.
the thing about our charity is we're 100% of our money goes
I
to
was
the
just
charity.
going to go to that. Yeah.
So we we get paid for this.
Actually,
We
you
do it
guys are
because
in the
of
fucking
want to.
negative. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Scott
100%.
Francesca puts his
Yeah.
own money. You know,
I'm gonna have to start an
constantly.
OnlyFans to get Parker's Platoon going again.
I'm not signing up for
Oh,
it.
buddy, it'll be cheap. It'll be cheap.
Yeah. No, we're not even going to go down that road because I got an idea for you.
Oh, don't make me start shaking it on the street corners up here, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, God, we dove off there for a minute.
Yeah, sorry.
We were talking about you deploying, being a gold medalist in hockey, and then getting sicky kind of, because you kind of lost 2 voids so Landon could go and pursue his thing. And now Sicario is kind of your main, that's your biggest probably responsibility over Landon right now almost, right? Like, I mean,
Definitely.
dogs take a fucking lot, dude. So when they eat a tennis ball, and you got vet bills, like, how does, like...
Yeah, you know, that's you know, with hockey expenses in general, and then, you know, now we're coming up on figuring out tuition and then dog bills, like, it's a lot off of the salary that the government gives me to live off of, you know.
You earned it.
Yeah, 100%.
You earned that.
And then some, I think, man. Fucking...
Just to
But I
see
think
that-
what's cool is it's not like you're just sitting around. I think a lot of guys get stuck in that rut. Maybe they just sit around and drink and I don't blame them for feeling that way or not wanting to get out.
Yeah.
But to bring it back to kind of the tribe and also what Parker's Platoon does, like, you know, we were able to go attend a bare knuckle boxing match.
Shout
that
out
was
Chris
awesome.
Camozzi.
Shout out Chris
Yep.
Camozzi. Sit ringside. We brought. Was there any active guys there, or was it just?
Nope.
I need to talk to you off camera actually too
Okay.
about something here in a minute.
Yeah,
but
of course.
But just and then Army and then Scott. You know, so it was just like that brotherhood. It was
Yep.
about 10 guys.
It's probably the most
rolling-
gangster table in the whole place.
100%, dude.
Vito shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, here we go.
Whitney's over there,
Yeah, Whitney. Love
you know,
Whitney.
so it was just all savages. But
Yep.
but yeah, it was such a good time. It was such I came out of elk camp. It was that good of a time. I left the one thing that I truly love to do,
Yeah.
and I left it for a day and a half because
Good
that's how
night.
long it took me. Yeah, to hang out with the boys and just build that camaraderie. And to this day, I'm still texting with all those guys that were there.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's like a fan. I think we had a group text going for like a month and a half.
Leading up to it.
Yeah,
Like,
leading up
to the
and then
event.
after it,
Yep.
even, you know what I mean? So it's like just kind of that little bit of like checking in on the boys, see how they're doing, see
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. And everybody faces different shit in their life, like the Ben Davis. We've had him on
Oh,
the podcast, fucking
Man,
awesome
what
guy.
a story, right?
But then, he's going through some stuff with his family too. And I don't even want to dive into it because it's
Yeah, that's
not my
his
place
story.
to tell it.
Yep.
But shit happens, man, and it happens with their kids. It's
Yep.
not even them. So it's like just being able to check in, be a supportive person, and just be a good person, man. That's a great point.
That's it.
of how to serve is like, if you don't have the means, just saying hi to somebody or spending 5 minutes to talk to them or treating the person that's at the grocery store checkout stand with respect.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a
that's the
dude,
biggest thing.
there's a dude that works up here at the local grocery store that I see on a regular basis. I'm always nice. I always talk to him. And we've become like friends because typically I don't go to the store when it's busy, dude. Like I hate it. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning or midnight, right? Like
Yeah, of course.
11:59 before they close. And that's the only time that this guy works. Shout out to Ryan. I don't even know his last name.
I don't even know Ryan, but shout out Ryan.
Yeah, we'll sit and bullshit, but people are in a hustle and bustle at that time of the morning. So like, if we're having a conversation like the other day, there's some lady behind us in line and she is just like, yeah, which I get that too, you know, like people got to go to work, they got to do shit, but not even like a, hey, how you doing? Like I was still kind of bagging the shit that I got.
Time to go to the store.
Yeah, exactly.
Not my problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so true,
This
though.
is mine and Ryan's time. But
Yeah, piss off.
yeah, but anyways, he's just a cool dude, you know, is always helpful, always nice to everybody. And it's just so funny because here's a guy that's just, you know, going through his day to day and is a nice guy. And somebody's in a hustle and bustle and he maintains that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's a guy that you want by your side. That's a guy that's not going to buck and buckle under other people's stress, that sort of thing, right? So
Yeah,
I
just
think
a good human.
just being a good human and recognizing that no matter who you're dealing with.
You know, I think we also learned too, just in friendships and life, just reaching out to your people and just to check in.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. How are you? Everything's well. I don't want anything. Don't need anything. I just need to know that you're doing okay. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. Just a hi, how are you? Goes
That
a
means
long
a
way.
lot, yeah.
It goes a really long way in life.
And I think also for if there's any veterans or people that have served or, you know, former first responders or anything like, you know, the last thing that you guys want to do is ask for help.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay to ask for help, man. It's okay to reach out to somebody and, you know, even if it's just like, I'm not talking like crazy help. Like, hey, I'm thinking about getting into bow hunting. What kind of bow should I get?
Yeah, what
you
do you
know, like,
recommend?
yeah,
Yeah.
just like that sort of shit, you know, like don't be
Totally.
too proud to reach out to somebody.
Well, when I first
That's
met
where
Bo,
Mom
he,
Francesca
yeah,
is really good at.
she's the connector.
Like, she won't, you know, won't ask for anything, but she'll ask. She knows how to ask the right questions to
what do you
to
need, Bo?
Yeah,
Like, that's correct, right?
but to understand you, and then
Yeah.
you know, she's able to put that together. I think that's what the most special talent out of many that Francesca has.
well, we also, like, was it last summer? Bo had called and said, hey, I want to do a chicken coop that was handicap accessible so we could get the eggs out. So my dad, being the handyman that he is, was like, we're going to Billings. Like,
Yeah.
tomorrow. Like, we're leaving tomorrow to go help Bo. And so
Badass.
I put on my work gloves and help Bo build.
Yeah, okay.
And
No, you and Landon tried to go pick up some bricks, but there was bees over there, so you
yeah,
guys.
bro, I'm here for the looks, okay? But with that being said, you know, like, it's little things like that like, Bo needs help, we're coming. End of story. I might not be a great builder or a builder at all because it's
Right.
not happening, for me at least. But my dad, he was all in it.
Calling on your friends,
Yeah,
right?
just
Calling on
helping
your family,
boys.
yeah.
Just helping your family and helping your boys and laughing about it, you know? Like, hey, DJ, why don't you pick up another brick? I'm like, I'll go get the cheeseburgers. How about
Right.
that? Like,
Yeah, there's got to be
I'll
some
get the food.
There's got to be some chirping involved. I think
Oh,
that's
God.
what made that night so fun with Army and Ben, and then, you know, going to Ice Wars and all that sort of stuff. It's not, the vents are badass, but above and beyond that, like sharing it with your boys, if you were sitting there by yourself, it wouldn't be that much fucking fun, honestly, dude.
Like, you should see Bo and I. So we have a handicap accessible van for Bo down in Florida.
yeah.
And you should see the three of us idiots in that thing together. Like, it is the funniest thing. Like, when we
Need to go
roll
pick up the single moms is what you need to do.
God, they stay away from us in that thing.
Well, you guys look like the dynamic duo. I mean, DJ's covered from fucking. Is there an inch on your body that's not covered in tattoos?
There's a couple.
A few
There's
eyebrows,
a couple inches.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
stuff
my
like
face
that.
was completely covered at one point in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Young and dumb.
And you know, Wolverine over here too, man. You got that. That's a Montana beard, dude. Like,
He is Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's been going good. I need to get a trim up.
Yeah, I know a guy. I know
Yeah.
a guy that can hook you up.
hell yeah. So, you know, with all the, I think the coolest thing about you too is alluding back to guys just kind of sitting around, is like Bo is constantly on the move, right? Like you don't let anything fucking slow you down, dude. You're fucking driving down to Wyoming to go to the fights. You work in Florida, live in Montana. Your son's going to school in Colorado. So does that help you just kind of get through the day to day, and or do you like the travel? Because
the travels, I mean, it's kind of, I like to look at it as a means to an end. At some point, it's not something I want to do forever.
Yeah.
But at least while Land's in school, and like another big point to that Francesca does really good for me too. With all that travel and being gone, my girlfriend and her 2 daughters, she's constantly asking, "How are the girls? Like, are you, because I've had a tendency in my past to get so much on my plate that, certain things that are extremely, extremely important to me don't get prioritized anymore. And then that takes me down the path of self-destruction.
Yeah.
And for her to be able to remind me of them and, ask about them and, bringing them, we're not married right now, but to bring them in and, they're our family. And that's, those type of things are just super, super special to me, because
it's just kind of like a little slap in the face, like
the
wake
whole
up,
reason
right? Like,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The whole reason I'm doing any of this is for all them. But sometimes the actions and the busyness of all of it, they get lost in all of that.
Yeah.
So I think to be able to have such a family that can help remind you about those things, that's what's...
Well, that's good advice for anybody, man. I could use that every once in a while, because you get head down and just like the blinders on.
Yeah.
And shit will slip by you, man. Like the most important things can slip by you pretty easily.
The biggest thing we were taught in the SEAL teams through training and stuff is compartmentalization. And in real life and real family, that is the worst thing to be good at. To start getting to a point where you start, like not seeing your spouse or whatever for what they're saying, and you have to, just your priorities kind of can get out of whack easy. So I think, just to communicate about that type of stuff is so huge and changed my life 360.
Yeah, no, that's fucking important for sure. What was your favorite thing to do in the teams? Was it, did you guys have fun training? And
yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we I think been to almost every state. Our workup before our deployment was almost 2 years long, and I think we were gone like 575 some of those days. In South Lake Tahoe, Mississippi, and just...
So you're on the go. So you're probably used to that.
And we get time off. We get to go have fun. Go skiing, go to Beale Street, Nashville, we're all over the place, Montana, Jackson Hole, kind of all over the place, training, doing different things. And
did you ever make it up into Kodiak? I'm sure that you did. Like,
during initial training, going through Buds and SQT, you go to Kodiak. We were there for a month.
Alaska's so badass, man. Yeah.
Love to go.
Yeah, no, it's I think there's so many people that, myself included, man, I just envy that as a job, but I don't think that they really understand what is behind it and the training and all the stuff that goes behind it. You know what I mean?
It's intense, and we're, obviously, you start training at the point. It's just like, someone learning to skate and playing the NHL. There's a difference, and a lot of work to get to that point. And then once you get to that point, operating at that high level, becomes natural and easy, and it's to an extremely high level that you only know if you know, kind of, you can only know if you know. It's as simple as it gets. You can explain and try to picture it the best, but that only goes so far.
I just love the shooting and moving. Like, that's my favorite way to go to the range, right? And I don't spend enough time doing it, but I absolutely love it. It's so therapeutic.
It is.
Yeah.
Is that something that you still do a little bit? I mean, you got a badass SIG you were showing me the other day. Shout out to SIG.
Hell yeah.
For the hookup, man. Fuck.
Yeah, that's an awesome gun. Yeah, I love shooting. I don't do it enough lately with all the travel. You know, that's the biggest thing, you know, about the teams is the boys. You know, no matter what you're doing, how shitty it is, you know, as long as you're with your boys, it don't matter what it is. You know, and that's definitely the toughest thing. Being away from everything, you know. And I talk to my buddies and they're like, yeah, there's just been doing some bullshit, it's been boring, or, you know, but if you can do that, all that stuff with your boys, you can make it fun, or, you know, at least you're all suffering together.
Even if you're bored together, right? Like,
Yeah,
it makes everything better,
as long as we're suffering together, it's okay.
It's so
We'll get through
hard.
this.
I would imagine this is like 10 times, 11 times the feeling that I get, but one of the feelings that I get knowing all the people that I've known in my past career as a rock and roll roadie, and like my friends are all like DJ and you, and just like, you know, you're going to get your balls busted. You're going to have a good fucking time. They're going to help you through, you know, you're 20 hours into a day and you're fucking suffering. They're going to help pick up a little bit of that for you, or you're going to pick it up for them. It's just like a true friendship, right?
Yeah, of
like,
course.
yeah. And then make you laugh at the same time, you know, even when you're going through the suck or whatever, right? So it makes it hard for me to function in a normal setting, right? Because I have guys like Chris Kamosian or Dustin Jacoby or, you know, Scott Parker sit across from me, or Bo, or like, you know, Beto or somebody like that, you know? Like, the conversations that we have are different than you do with like an accountant. And there's
They don't get it.
Right.
They have no idea.
And, you know, as your kids are growing up, they have friends, and they have their friends have parents, and you find yourself at these same sort of functions. And that's where I have a really hard time connecting with people. It's fucking hard, man.
It is tough.
That is like, have you found that at all? Like,
Yeah, you gotta, you know, I'd have this thing where
Here we go.
let's go. Now this shit's getting real.
Yeah, let's go.
I'll be in, you know, scenarios, and I do this on purpose, and not many people know this.
Fuck, it
Some
works.
people are like, oh, Bo's an asshole or whatever, but sometimes I just don't want to talk to you, and if I don't really know you, we don't really connect, but I don't want to, you know, just tell you to fuck off. I challenged myself to make the situation is as most uncomfortable as possible.
Awkward as fuck.
With pure silence and just like no emotion, and
Yeah.
He'll just look at you. He does it to me sometimes.
like look over at you and then just like
He does it to me, Bob.
Mental
or
warfare,
someone's
right?
just like
Mind fuck.
talking away and just like just staring at something up on the wall, you know, and I always try to be good.
Are you laughing your ass off in the back of your
totally.
mind? Yeah.
And it's not, you know, I don't like just being an asshole to people, but
Right.
sometimes, like, you know, say I'm at the bar by myself, or I'm watching a game, or just chilling by myself, just whatever. You know, one that you know, I really appreciate people. I don't want to put this the wrong way. I do. I'm very grateful for people saying thank you for your service, and my case is a lot more visible, right? So everyone can see that I'm missing my legs. I have a service dog, so got tattoos as soon as I was in the military, and they say thank you, and you know, I really appreciate it. But you know, there's been times where I'm sitting down, you know, dinner with my girlfriend, like, you know, this is our time, you know, and you know, someone to come in and start a conversation. I know they're excited, and I know they mean well. But sometimes I'm just like, that's when I'll make it super awkward. Like, all right, well, I'm sitting right here with this beautiful woman, like, and she deserves my attention because I'm gone so much, and you know, she deals with me day to day, and I'm a pain in the ass, and you know, and so I think it's just some of those, like, picking those.
I think
right
being
moments.
respectful of anybody's time, and DJ, you can probably attest to this, like your dad being in public and being a fucking Stanley Cup champion. Not only that, like one of the baddest ass motherfuckers in all of hockey.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, it's not that they don't want their fans a recognition or to make that connection, but there should be some sort of ethics to it, right? Like you don't wait until the person is like finished with their meal and maybe leaving, then make your entrance point,
Yeah, of
or
course.
like, you know, that sort of thing.
It is so tough though.
Time
Yeah.
and place.
And it is. I think it's something that's it's natural, and you know, I've gotten better at it. I used to be a lot more like, you know, okay, like can you leave me the fuck alone? Like I just want to be a normal person. I don't.
Right.
And then I had to really kind of think about that. They maybe hadn't seen the things I've seen, or and they do donate to the like foundations and stuff, and they really love that and take passion and pride in doing that. So
Yeah.
I think it's something,
Well, that's
us as veterans too. We have to be, we still have to be an ambassador, and it's something that I did this, and it comes with the territory, and I want to do good things with it. So whether you're in those uncomfortable situations, I think it's important just to kind of remember why you did what you did, and how grateful that person is that you helped give them the freedom to be in this great country. So
Fuck yeah.
I think when you think about it the other way, it's
putting
it's
yourself in
super
somebody
important.
else's perspective, man. It's like, I don't have very many fans. I mean, we have fans, so I get recognized like once in a fucking blue moon. But when I do, I just turn the conversation right around, man. It's like, I think people are so excited to see you, and they want to tell you what their worth is, right? Because they're trying to like, this is how much I care.
Yeah.
So they automatically just start telling you about themselves and what they do and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you take the opposite approach, it'd be like, oh, what are you doing here? Are you having a good time? Like, make it about that person. That's a real interaction,
Yeah,
right?
just being genuine.
Right.
And they're excited too, because the stuff our men and women that have fought for this country have given them the ability to have the life they have and do that. So it's I think looking at it from the other way, it's really changed my perspective over time.
Hell yeah.
I think that's helped too with like our charity. So we also deal a lot with professional athletes, obviously, and the men and women coming home are suffering the same brain injury as guys like my dad and other enforcers. So we're learning that the transition is just natural with the two of them together. So like Eric Goddard, who my dad fought all the time, is now a part of our organization, and he hangs out with the veterans, and they tell stories together, and they look at each other like, wow, our stories are so similar. So a big thing that we say is same team, just a different mission, because they're going through the same things.
Well, and that's
and
kind of how you guys connected, right? Because wasn't Scott at the same, or using the same doctor or something? And
So we first connected, which is
The Battle of Boxwood, right?
Battle of Boxwood, which is a bunch of ex-NHL players.
Curtis Fleming, the fisherman.
Yeah, and we and with veterans go up there, we went fishing, and that's how me and Scott first were introduced.
Wasn't
And
my grandfather there too?
No, he wasn't up there on that one.
Roger wasn't? Okay.
I don't think he was that trip. Because my coach growing up was Greg Smith, and he, coached me, and all those guys all know each other from the fishing community, and so that was the first interaction. And then Scott, when he was getting work on with Doc Kelly out at NIH and stuff in Bethesda, Maryland, there, Scott, that's how he showed up at our door.
this is a great story, too.
Right?
Didn't Landon or somebody answered the door and was like,
answered the door, like, I was like, who is it? Like, some big tall guy with a beard and tattoos all over. And I think like, well, that's about all my buddies. I remember saying like, no, he's like really tall. And I opened the door and I was like, oh, and then then the relationship has been
Over since
super
then.
strong since then.
Yep.
In my biggest thing, I don't talk to a lot of big groups of people or anything, but I've always, my brother played hockey professionally as well, and I would talk to his different teams growing up through college and high school, and hockey and the SEAL teams correlate so closely more than any other sport. There's not another sport out there that it comes anywhere near, you know. Maybe rugby or maybe like water polo, something like that, like super team oriented where there's accountability.
Yeah. It's a chess match that is with badasses, really. I mean,
God.
like, it's so crazy.
It's insane to watch.
And then you know, hockey players, as much as they travel, they're together all the time. It's their brotherhood. They're with you know, you're with your brothers more than you're with your own family, and being able to balance that life out and the work ethic. Like I said again, the accountability. Like you do something fucked up, you're gonna pay the man for it.
True. Yeah.
What other sport can you do that?
Yeah.
It's a team sport, you know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's true though.
That is true.
Yeah.
Go watch Ice Guardians.
Yeah.
fucking
Shout out
great
Adam
documentary.
Scorgi. He put that together.
Is that who put that together?
Yeah. So Adam was actually he went
That's
to high
who.
school.
That's
with
who you
Parks.
need to hit up to make the Parker's Platoon film. Don't call me anymore.
Well, I'm always going to call you. We love you. And Adam, he's kind of taken off after Ice Guardians, you know, but he made that because
He
he actually
deserves
went
it,
to
man.
high school with Parks.
That's
and a guy by the
badass.
name of Todd Fedoruk, who his nickname is Fridge. And
Yeah?
Scott and Fridge played together in Kelowna on the same team, two tough guys, and they used to beat the shit out of each other in the locker room, like because there's just two alpha males just going at it. And Adam went to high school with them and just fell in love with it, and became friends with Parks, became friends with Fedoruk, and just like, oh my god, I got to make a documentary about this. And boom, Ice Guardians, and it was really incredible.
It's probably one of my favorite documentaries of
It's really
all
good.
time. I've watched it, God, probably like 6 or 8 times.
Have you ever seen the clip of George Peros talking about Parks?
No, let's pull
Oh my
that
god!
up.
So it's,
Is that on Ice Guardians?
no,
or-
it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about like a minute and a half, and it's George Peros talking about fighting Parks. It's like a deleted scene.
Okay.
It's hilarious to listen to because I see my dad in a different light.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's just a big teddy bear with hands the size of this room, you know?
Yeah.
But just to
And
hear
Scott
from...
talking about his off-season training of his hands.
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
So my dad, this fucking guy, I think he was on the road, and my mom.
Now
and
we're
I-
getting into it.
My
Let's
mom
go.
and I found this ranch down in Castle Rock that this little old man was selling. He was on the road during playoffs, and my mom's like, "Parks, I found this ranch. It's incredible. It's everything that we're looking for." My dad's like, "Okay, well, when I get off the road, I'll come look at it." She's like, "Well, we have to make an offer like today." And he's like, "All right, done. If you like it, we'll buy it." So my dad and I built this big American Ninja Warrior course before that was even a thing. And he used to like go down there and wrap chains around his hands and punch trees down, literally for his workout.
To build up the scar tissue.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff,
scar tissue.
right?
Busting up the bone and make, you know.
Yeah.
And then we had the cargo nets. So he would run all these cargo nets, do things, and then we had a shoot station. So then at the end, when you're tired, you had to like put the mag in and go, like while your like heart rate's going. And then
The tactical games
Yeah.
before there were tactical games,
and
right?
people had no idea what this man did in the off season. And I watched as a young kid, like, I don't ever want to play
Was
a
that
contact
just
sport.
normal with you, or like?
I mean, it was pretty
Yeah.
normal. Like my mom being a cop, my dad playing in the NHL, two gangsters, and I'm over here like, nah, I'm good. I
Yeah.
just want to be like.
I think it's that one right
Yeah, it's
there,
this
right?
one right here. Yeah.
That one?
Yep.
Yeah. We might not be able to put this in the actual podcast,
I
but
can
we're
ask-
gonna play it.
could
Yeah.
ask-
I always
scored.
laugh because one of the ones I tell is that Scott Parker was a real character. He's a good guy from what I know, and he was scary as the day is long. He's he just like didn't wear a shirt underneath, so all he saw was like chest hair coming out, and he's a big SOB, and he barked a lot. He had a bark as big as his bite, and he'd always, if you punched him, be like, "Oh yeah, that was good. Do that again." I'm like, "Who is this animal? Jesus Christ!" So I would hit him, and he loved it. He just loved it. I think I never really asked him, but you could tell this guy really enjoyed it. And my God, he was one of the first guys that made me realize that rib punching can be effective, because he blasted me in the ribs a whole bunch of times, and I didn't think anything of it until after the game, and then I was sore for about a week. So every time I fought him, I'd put on a rib pad. I stitched one on my shoulder pads. But there's a couple funny moments. One, we had a square off in San Jose. He threw his gloves at me, and it kind of pissed me off. I'm like, what are we in fucking minors here? So I took my glove off and chucked it at him, thinking like, fuck you. And he caught the damn thing and threw it in the stand. And I just started laughing, and I had to fight this guy, but I was like, this is too funny.
Yeah.
I love Scott, man. He's just fucking awesome human.
He's a legend.
Yeah, just always excited to see you. I love how he signs his autographs. Like the one that we got right over there is just kill them all.
Oh, and if he writes that to you, it's because he likes you.
Okay.
Because if he'll write like all the best, because he just doesn't know.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
He doesn't want to offend somebody, like kill them all.
Well, it's my
You know?
favorite album of all time. I was like in third grade. I was like, that's why I was smoking Marlboro Reds and changed my fucking
Yeah.
my lifestyle to rock and roll roadie from, being a helicopter pilot or whatever I wanted to be at a young age.
Yep.
Was listening to Metallica. So I love that. And then just that era of hockey was fucking
Gangster.
the best.
Gangster.
The best. I don't ever think it'll be like that as much as they've changed the game. And like, that's kind of what Ice Guardians is about, right? Is this new generation of hockey is way different.
Soft.
And the Avalanche were so well accepted in here. And then, somebody that I used to listen to on a regular basis every morning when I was a kid because I couldn't afford CDs and like, unless I was doing the BMG subscription or whatever, those CD subscriptions. Do you ever remember those fucking things? Like 12 CDs for a penny or whatever. And they're probably still after me for money, right?
100% they are. Yeah.
I learned how to make like fictitious names and shit. But anyways, I used to listen to Willie B in the morning from KBPI, and he was a huge Avs fan. And so much that he flew all the way to Detroit and knocked a DJ out in his own studio and then flew back. Have you ever heard that story?
I heard it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it was just kind of like, dude, that's honestly where my like passion and love for hockey was, because I played pond hockey. So I always had, growing up right here on the lake, that was the only thing we could do in the winter, man. That was it.
Definitely.
And sneak onto the ice because we couldn't afford, the ticket, the $3 or whatever it cost to go get a daily ticket. We couldn't afford it. So sneak onto the ice and
throw the puck down and go.
Yeah, no, running across the golf course and your skates when they came to come bust you. You know what I mean?
Try not to fall on your ass because you're slipping around. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hockey players are a different breed. I'll tell you that.
But it's so exciting to watch it during that area.
You want to see me on the ice?
Yeah.
Buddy, I'm like Usain Bolt out there, all right? But on ice.
You guys want to see something funny? Put me in a pair of skates, dude. I've never been able to skate.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Are you Bambi?
100%.
100%, yeah.
Like, I'll get going too fast for my own good, and then next thing you know, I'm sliding on my back or face. Or
I got into one of the sleds once with the guys, and I was like, I want to try this.
Yeah.
And my dad got into one too.
Really?
He's so big that he was like using his arms and he couldn't turn, and it just gave you a whole different perspective for ice and like body awareness.
Is it a single blade on the sled?
There's two down there.
There's two.
It's
okay.
sick. It was
but
so
it's
fun.
kind of centered, right? So
You can when you first get going, they have them wider, but as you get better, you get them tighter, so you can just be more agile.
And then on one end of the stick is a spike, right? To propel your...
No, you got some spikes in the end to propel yourself.
It is violent. I watch these guys go, and they hit each other at 20 miles an hour in these sleds. And I mean rock each other. And I'm like, holy shit, this is no joke. Because it's all upper body.
Yeah.
You know?
Nothing against the murder ball guys, but it's got to be like 10 times the fucking...
No joke.
Yeah.
Absolutely no joke what these guys do on those sleds.
That's fucking badass.
Even to see NHLers that have made it to the highest pinnacle of their profession get into these sleds and try it, they're like, they're so humbled because they're used to just shooting.
Yeah.
You see, you got two hands, two sticks. You're not playing with one stick, you're playing with two.
Right.
So now you're shooting with the left.
Me. Excuse me. Me being a goalie my whole life.
Jeremy, see if you can pull... Is there any video footage of you playing?
Probably not.
Yeah.
They're...
Yeah, see what you can pull up here. I'd love to see some of that.
I don't know. USA Hockey. I was in the USA Hockey magazine, but I don't think there was any videos.
Okay.
Stuff on
No,
that. They did a
I
big
haven't seen
article
any.
back in the day.
Yeah.
USA Hockey,
me
yeah.
and Landon. Yeah.
That's a great cover too, man. That's such a good photo of you and Landon, man. I love that photo.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah. That's super cool.
It was USA Hockey Team, but which
What year?
I don't know if there's any, probably the Pan America Games. You'll be able to look up stuff of a bunch of my other buddies on the Paralympic team. They won golds in Russia, Korea, and I got a lot of lot of good buddies that still play that get after it. Yeah, if you just watch one of those highlight videos, I'm not on this team.
We got to start paying for fucking YouTube. They need to start paying us more.
We got to get you guys that same $12, eh?
Yeah. No, that's where my $12 is going. Fuck this, dude. I'm giving it to these guys.
No fucking way.
Yeah, these are going to be a lot of my buddies I used to play with. I'm not on this team, but this is when they were in. This is 2022. Yeah.
Hey, can you go down on the volume just a tiny bit? Thanks, brother.
Holy shit, this is so gnarly.
It's no joke, man.
Have you ever caught the spiked end of a stick?
I have. So I was a goalie, and on the back of our. Yeah, these young kids that I used to play with, those kids are studs.
That's fucking awesome. How many of them are veterans? And I mean, it's all walks of life,
not sure
right?
anymore. When I played on the team, we had, I think there was 6 of us that were veterans.
Okay.
6 or 7.
So
It's
sick.
dude, the hockey community is so badass. Like I went down to watch Army play at, I think it was an Avalanche alumni versus like veterans
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
or something. Like it was so much fun. And Army did not hold back. He had like 30 goals that night.
Of course he did. He said, I think
yeah.
he said in the group message, didn't he say, oh, yeah, first
Yeah.
star, MVP. He talks about
Oh,
himself
dude,
that
they
way.
were talking shit to him. I mean, everybody was cool at the end of it, you know what I mean? But the stands was booing the fuck out of
loves
him.
it.
Like,
If you rewind that goal real quick, watch how quick their release is. So this is what I was going to say, like the stand-up. Right here, watch Brody coming in. Look how quick that is. So
man.
with stand-up, you have 2 hands, and there's a lot more tell on your shot. When you're playing sled hockey, there's no flex in those sticks, and it's all arm, and it's super quick release. So it took a long time actually to get used to the release because I had played stand-up hockey my whole life and was used to that release.
He was shooting literally from the ice.
That's
God.
why it's so high scoring.
Jesus.
So badass.
I think
How's the
that's
team
it.
doing now? Are they badass, or have you kept up with any of it?
Oh,
or-
I think they've won the last 5 Paralympics.
Really?
Yeah, they've.
Am I allowed to tell part of the
boys are
story from
studs.
the last Olympics? Am I allowed to? To certain details?
Which one?
When after 18, the Olympics.
Probably not. I don't know.
Well, let's just say this.
Okay.
The boys all came home. Gold medal. And it was just, we had a really fun night. We had a super fun night. Everybody celebrated. And there was 2 of us there that were able-bodied. And everybody else was on prosthetics. And it was just a really, really, really fun night. And just to see these guys in like their own element, because a lot of them were veterans. And they wouldn't wear their gold medals out. They weren't looking for anything besides going out and having a good time. And we did, for sure. And I made sure those gold medals were with us. And so those boys knew, like, hey, like, this is America, baby. Like, you guys did this, you know?
Fuck
so
yeah.
They're incredible human beings. Their stories are humbling. They're kind. They're compassionate. They care about their brothers. They literally wear USA across their chest for a reason.
yeah.
You know, and it's, they're great guys.
I'd love to go to one of these. They ever have them in Colorado, or is it?
Down in Colorado Springs, maybe.
Really?
The Olympic training facility, maybe.
No, they'll train up there, but they have you have like regular club teams throughout the season.
Okay.
Oh, the Warrior Abs. We can go to a Warrior Abs game.
And
Yeah.
Those are fun.
I don't know what Team USA does anymore for their training area or where they play.
The Warrior Abs ones are fun. We have another veteran of ours. His name's Jerry, and he's on the Warrior Abs. He's a really good player. So
Well,
those-
hit me up the next time you guys are going.
Yeah,
man. I want to
get my
go
dad
with
and
you.
we'll go.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Definitely go support
That'd be
the boys.
awesome. Yeah, Scott is still just, oh man, dude. Like anytime I go to give him a hug, I feel like I'm hugging an I-beam, dude. Like
we always
those back muscles are. I mean, he's just still yoked. I
put
hope.
together that
yeah.
man. We tell guys all the time when they're because a lot of the guys at Parks fought, they don't know each other. They only know each other from the ice. So now a lot of the enforcers are starting to get together, and the NHL community's that, quote unquote 1% of the world. Yeah. But the enforcers are the 1% of the 1%. And they look for each other. And so they get in the room together and they just like mean mug each other for a second, like kind of size each other up again. And you're like, oh boy, here we go. And then they realize like, I'm sorry, I hurt you. I didn't mean to hurt you. And I tell guys like, don't shake his hand. Like, be a man and hug him.
Yeah.
There's nothing manly about that. It's like, give Parks a hug because he will break your damn hand.
Yeah.
Not intentionally. He just has that strength about him that you're like, how are you so goddamn strong? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just Parks though. Like, hey, how you doing, bro?
Absolute savage.
You good, bro? Hey, bro.
So growing up, I mean, did you go to a lot of the games growing up and stuff? Were you there? Like,
yeah, I went
growing
a
up
lot.
in that locker room and.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I went a lot. I grew up in the crowd. Definitely was always the one that had all the young kids, the other kids from the team with me, especially Cal and Nolan Foote, who are my little brothers. I love them to death and so proud of their careers. So growing up, I definitely saw a different side, being around guys like Adam and Joe Sakic and Forsberg and Hayduk and Waugh. I mean, now that I'm older, I'm like, oh my God, I was in a room full of Hall of Famers. I didn't know it. It was normal. And then to leave the rink to go back to just our normal life was awesome because Parks wasn't the kind of guy to buy Bentleys and fancy jewelry, and he didn't care about that. It was more about just riding his motorcycle.
Or what kind of chop size?
Yeah, like
maybe the nicest
what can I go
chop
build?
size.
Yeah, what can I go build? Like he wants to build something, so
Yeah.
this massive truck pulls up and there's like a couple $100,000 worth of woodworking equipment, and he's like, oh yeah, I forgot I ordered that. But that was him though, because he just wants to be left alone in his shop. He's a good old boy.
He's a
from
real
Alaska.
fucking man is
yeah,
what he
he's
is.
a real man.
Yeah.
And like there would be a summer where one of our buddies built like this like a community, so he had all this dirt and he had nowhere to put it. So my dad and I were like, yeah, bring it over to the house. Like, we're gonna build a racetrack around the house for dirt bikes and quads and tabletops. And so we spent an entire summer going out and just building things and hitting jumps and literally just having an absolute redneck debauchery blast. Bonfires and shooting guns, and people think this high caliber lifestyle of pro athletes is yachts and fancy dinners, and that is so not us at all. Put on your overalls, get dirty, break something, hopefully not yourself, because I won't say names, but there was definitely some athletes and some players that came to our house and the course of the track wasn't so good to them, you know, but that was part of when you come over to our house and come through our gates. It's because A, we love you, B, we trust you, and C, just come have a good time. Whoever you are, just put it behind you. And like our community is the color
It's
of water.
still like that.
Yeah, exactly. We're the color of water. We don't care what you've done, who you represent. Leave that shit at the door and just come be genuine. Just come have a good time. Because at the end of the day, Parks did what he did. My mom did what she did. And we just want to be kind. We want to be left alone too. And I mean left alone in a positive aspect. Like, we're not trying to be out here in front of you. Give us this, give us that.
Thanks you guys for being here today, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Fucking get the crowbar out, but
no, and we just, I look around the room sometimes and my friends, like, I'm a grown man, right? And people ask me all the time, like, man, you spend a lot of time with your family. I'm like, well, if you knew my family, you would know why.
Yeah.
You would know why I'm always with my family.
It's more of like a clique almost. Like not in a bad way, but like in the best way,
people.
right?
Those are my people.
Yeah.
If I'm going to war, there's nobody else I want behind me. First, no offense to Bo or my dad, first person I want behind me is Francesca Parker.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Because she's coming locked, loaded. She has her
as
mohawk
scary
up.
as Scott is, I'm more scared of Francesca, like having to face her, and not
definitely.
even like physically, just like
No.
I would not want to be
She
on
just
her
stares
bad
into your
side.
soul sometimes, and I'm like, oh shit. And so I love when Bo's around because she'll do it to
She
him.
lied to me.
Yeah, she'll do it to Bo all the time, and I'm just sitting there in the corner like, oh, thank God it's not me today, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm a grown-ass man, like, still like, oh, shit. Like, I didn't do it, Mom. It wasn't me.
So I still get a little nervous with her on the
Yeah.
phone, especially when she gets worked up and gets going. I'm like, fuck, I do not want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah, you get
Please,
I
sweaty.
do, I
please,
do want this on the air though.
Uh-oh.
When DJ, we'll be together and he'll call.
Oh,
She won't answer anymore. Then I'll. Wait, what do I say? I bet she answers
Yeah,
my call.
so-
I call and she
fuck,
answers.
every time.
Yeah.
Like,
And
just today.
me and Sicario and Landon are the picture cover on our phone.
All right, let's do it right now then.
You want to do a test?
Yeah, let's
Oh,
do it.
Fuck.
Let's
Okay.
see who she answers for.
Okay. If she answers for Bo, I'm
Well,
just,
she knows that you guys are together, so she might answer for you. Huh, DJ
I
this
don't
time.
know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Should I try first, or you go first?
Well, you can try first because then we can try to debunk you.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
How about you both
She's gonna-
text?
she's gonna
Hold on,
answer.
hold on a second.
Okay.
Text her at the same exact time,
Okay.
separate text messages, whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Whoever gets the response first wins.
Hold on, I gotta get set up here.
You got to hit send at the same time.
My question's a little fucked up.
Did you already send?
Oh yeah, sorry.
She asked?
I got ahead of myself. All I said to her was this: "Who's your favorite son, me or Bo?"
That's kind of cheating, dude.
Not really.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
I know it's gonna come. I know it's coming from this. I know it's coming from this.
That's awesome. We'll
She's
see
gonna
how
write
long
me
it
back
is.
First. Now I'm over
Hell
here
yeah.
looking at both of the phones. Like, who's getting it first?
We never pull phones out on the podcast, but this is a good fucking
Yeah,
reason
right?
here.
But yeah.
So
man.
Scott, I mean, did you ever see him like tested outside the ring? Did people ever try to like fight him or?
Yeah. All the time.
And I love like Kamosi's line and like Julian the other day, or Ulysses in the other day. They're like, dude, I don't fight for free, man. Like I got to be getting paid to fucking fight. That's those guys' mentality,
So
right?
here's the thing. So when Parks was playing, he was in the bubble, we call it, right? So when he left the rink, he was leaving through the back door. He was going to private dinners with his teammates because
Threatening to Uzi the other team's boss.
Oh my god! I remember being down. Literally,
Sorry, I couldn't let that go,
Oh.
dude. I fucking love that story.
he literally. I remember as a kid just standing next to him, and he'd be pacing, pissed off, and I mean ready to like anybody had gotten in his way, and I'm just like, oh my god, yes, here we go. And the team would come up. He's like, don't you fuck around in my barn. I will fuck this whole bus up. I will Uzi it. And I'm just like, I'm young. I'm like, I don't know what the fucking Uzi is, but hey, I'm down to watch.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, he was just a nut, man. Just an absolute nut about it. And he just loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it. Like he literally like he breathed like I don't know. He would get to the rink and he would just turn on. He'd start shaking and you'd see his eyes go. And then he'd leave the rink and he'd have 2 big ice bags on his hands because they were broken. Yeah. And then as soon as he got in the car, all of his teammates are going to the chop house or going to some fancy dinner, and we'd hop in his big Ford F650, cruise back to Castle Rock. The kids at the McDonald's knew his order. He'd come around.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, hey, Parks, like, come to the window. We got your order, buddy. And he'd go around, he'd get his McDonald's and go home. Like, that was Scott Parker. And that is still Scott Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, man.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, he's a special human, man. 100%.
He's very special.
The craziest thing about that to me is like, I have a ton of professional fighters in, and I didn't really realize it until I sat down and we had Scott sitting in this chair. And Scott, if you're listening to this, I know you will be. I love you, buddy. You're welcome back here any fucking time, dude. I don't care who's in that chair. It's yours. But just the amount of fighting that man has been through, like these professional fighters that are bare knuckle boxers or UFC fighters or whatever, they might fight like 3-4 times a year. We're talking hundreds of fights a year probably, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how many games do they play in a season?
Well, it starts with preseason, so that could be anywhere from 8 to 12 games, just depending on the schedule. 82 regular season games, and then you can play up to, I think, 28 games in playoffs.
Right.
So I think the year that my dad won the cup, he said they played like 100 and, don't quote me, 110, 112 games that year. Yeah, and it started, training camp starts in, I think, September, early, and he didn't get done till the end of June.
in that era in hockey, like that's what people were going to hockey. That's why I was watching hockey.
You went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Yeah.
Back in the day. literally.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, going back to your question, we go to like Avalanche games. My dad doesn't really enjoy going. Just, you know, that was his life, you know, and he loves to go and support his teammates.
I don't like going to rock shows, dude.
Yeah, so you get it, right?
Yeah.
And my dad loves to go support his teammates. Like his captain Adam Foote, you know, now coaching in Vancouver and doing really well. So he'll show up and, you know, go give footy love and support him. And I remember a specific time, the organization is, you know, not my place to say, but it's not the greatest. I'll just say it. And
like in what way? Just not. I don't want to dig too
they don't
deep,
take
but
care
they're
of the
just
alumni
not.
guys very well,
Really?
from my perspective.
Uh-huh.
And when you are so catered to walking through the back door, and
You would think with them winning a
Yeah.
cup too, man, that it would be.
you know, you walk through the back door, you understand like the tunnels, right, in the Pepsi Center. No offense to Ball, I always
Yeah.
call it Pepsi.
Yeah, me too.
And then these guys retire and they have to come back for an alumni night. And it was actually Forsberg's jersey retirement night. And the Avalanche made these guys walk through the front door
What?
of Pepsi, literally. So
Why?
Me, I understand how to get around. Upstairs, downstairs, grew up there. So Forsberg was just aimlessly walking around like, where the hell do I go?
Not to mention probably getting
Never
stopped
Oh,
every
just
fucking
absolutely
5 seconds.
throttled by people.
Wow.
And so myself, my mom, my dad, we see that, and my dad's like, "Faux pas, come here." He's like, "Oh, thank God, it's Parksy, like just the person I need to see."
My enforcer.
Yeah, like, oh, thank God. And then, of course, my mom never went to the games. She just didn't, you know, that was my dad's job. Like, go do your thing. So I knew how to get there. So my dad and Faux pas look at me like, "Hey, get us to the box." And on the way up there was a drunk guy. And he looks at Parks, looks at Faux pas, looks at Parks, and he goes, "You don't look so tough without your skates on." And I'm and my mom and I looked at him and looked at each other like, "Go ahead, Parks." Why don't you see how tough he fucking really is? Because I guarantee he did this on what, a 16th inch piece of blade.
Yeah.
You want to see what happens.
Now he's in his sandals.
Yeah.
Like he's barefoot in here. Like this man will hurt you. Like, please don't go there.
Does he
Yeah.
ever wear shoes? Yeah.
No. So actually, I lied. He wore shoes.
He's snowmobiling.
Yeah. And then we went to we played a Mike Allstott from the Bucks charity golf tournament last weekend in Florida.
Oh, nice.
He had shoes on. He wasn't too thrilled about that.
I love Mike Allstott, man.
Great
He's
guy,
fucking
man.
savage, dude. Like,
Great guy.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite football players to watch.
Yeah, fun organization. Just kind of happened on a whim, but to watch like Parks play golf, he's legitimately the real Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Oh, he throws clubs, he breaks clubs. Fuck this fucking game. Fucking shit. Fucking fuck.
That's me too, man. Especially on the ice, because I can't skate, but
Yeah.
I could throw a puck. Probably not like the pros, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's funny, man.
that's hilarious, man.
Yeah, Parks.
Super cool. So what time do you guys got to get rolling here pretty soon? Yeah.
What time is it? I
Did
think
we
got
get
little
a text back?
bit. Not yet.
Oh, damn.
So
Well,
we can
I
just
think that
do things right.
one thing that you guys could use to your advantage, and maybe I shouldn't even be saying this on the air. Maybe we'll just save that for off air. But
Yeah, I gotcha.
I got some ideas for you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, because you guys are so loved and so humble and you know so many people, you know, I think that they would get behind you 100%, just like I have, or Kamosi, or like any of these other guys.
Well, and I think the
You
cool
know.
thing that's happened too, besides, you know, everything that we've talked about today, is bringing in an active SEAL team to do a pre-deployment get-together. Is that the best way to put it, Bo?
Yeah, we used to call it pre-deployment retreat. Camp,
retreat,
or-
man camp. Yeah. And bringing those guys in, and this is our second time with these gentlemen, and to hear their stories and to know what they're going through on a daily basis for what they can tell us. But
Then
we're-
you help prep them for when they're getting out too.
yeah, you're giving them
You
a
start
hope.
talking to active guys, like, you know, instead of waiting 5-6 years after being injured and getting out, then now what do I do, rather than, okay, you already have a family set up, so when you get out, we're already here for you.
Mm-hmm.
That makes so much more sense than
But-
just like trying to triage a problem, right? Like get ahead of it.
And
Yeah.
bringing those guys in, you know, we don't never ask for anything in return. We just want you to get home safely. We thank you for your service, which they hate to hear, but we still say it.
Yeah.
And
what is the best way to ask that, or what's the best way to recognize that in your eyes, Bo? I mean, you can't speak for everybody, but like
for you,
for me, I've been around so many of these guys, especially in my rock and roll career, because a lot of the guys go into personal protection at that point. So that's how I know all the guys that I know, you know, and I just kind of, it's sad to say, I stopped saying it at a certain point. I guess I still say it if the situation is right. If you're at the Shriners whatever dinner or something and everybody's wearing their, you know, veteran hats from Vietnam or even World War II or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's one of those things, like if it comes up, you know, and then then it puts you in that space to, you know, thank you for your service. You know, obviously, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and kind of just keep it moving. But you know, everyone handles it different.
it's kind of an awkward, like,
yeah, I never really
thing.
know, like,
Yeah.
is me is saying thank you very much, I appreciate you. Is that the right thing to even say back? Like, I don't even know what to say back.
Yeah.
You know, but
I think you handle it pretty well.
and it's just, you know, everyone's different, and I think the biggest thing is, you know, obviously the gesture that, you know, everyone's meaning well by it, and you got to take it well.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be, you did it, and you know.
I think it's good to recognize it, man. Like, yeah, but I think just be normal, you know, just having a normal conversation and spending time with somebody without even saying it, I think can go just as far, man. Just treat somebody like a human, you know.
Absolutely.
Too. Yeah.
Just be kind. You know.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's a lot more to me than just that. I think we were talking about that. It's not like there's so many, you know, like with Scott, there's so much more to him than
Oh yeah.
Than hockey.
there's way more to him than hockey was.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and those are not the things that, you know, like his charity work, all the stuff that he does that has changed people's lives. You know, I think that's things like that are stuff that gets forgotten about, like a giant of a man like him, you know.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that we've learned too along the way is when I first met Bo, he wouldn't say 2 words to me. Literally, not one, you know, because he just didn't know me. We
Yeah.
don't come from the same world. We don't have the same story. But as soon as we got together and we got to know each other and we became vulnerable as friends, it opened up our relationship to turn into, he's my brother. I'd go to war for this guy. I'll do anything you need. I got you, bro. And that's the big part of our charity, is getting to know the individual. And it's not just based around, okay, you need I don't know, prosthetics. Here you go. See ya. Or
Right.
what other people don't know is when you do service dogs, you know, you don't just give them the dog and it's done.
This is a great point.
You
yeah.
know, you don't just give them the service dog and say, here you go. You know, there's vet bills, there's food, there's service vests, there's paperwork. I mean, there's a lot that goes to it. So it doesn't just end when Sicky was handed to Bo. It didn't end there. It's continuing today, you know, to always make sure that not only Bo's successful, but Sicky also has to be successful. So if Bo's having an off day, he can pick up that percentage that Bo doesn't have in him, you know?
Yeah. And it's so cool too that, Bo, you're turning around and be able to be a part of the organization that's actually helping other guys, right? Because that's got to feel good too.
Yeah, I think you get to that point, at least for me, like, I'm good. Me.
Okay, I am so sorry for interrupting.
She knows we're up to something, huh?
What'd you say?
Fuck you, Bo. That's what I'm starting by saying right now is fuck you. Okay, so I sent my mom that message and I said, who's your favorite son, me or Bo? She goes, Bo. Actually, Sicky. So there
That's
you go.
why she's a gangster. Yeah.
There you go.
yeah.
She writes me back first, but still loves Bo more, right? So there it is.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, anyways, I mean to interrupt.
Where were we at there?
I'm talking about
We were talking about you being part of the organization, being able to turn around and basically repay some of what you've received and how that makes you feel, you know, because for me, the whole reason that and I'm speaking only for myself and only from my perspective, the whole reason that I like to help with these nonprofits, and I don't put it on my social media, I don't want any sort of credit for it, is I just genuinely want to know that I went and helped, right? And I don't want anybody also to turn around and go, oh, you're just doing it because of this. Because I think a lot of these professional athletes and stuff like that, like, and I hate to say that,
you gotta look
but
at it the other way.
yeah, it's a PR thing. I don't want it to be a PR thing.
No.
And
Yeah.
I think in genuinely talking about that, but in talking about that and the people that you have on the podcast, you know, like you're doing good, and you sharing it can also even do more good. So it's a double-edged sword sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I do talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Like
And
I
thank you
talked
for that,
about it
too.
today.
Yeah, thank you.
I talk about the organization. Sometimes I talk about what I've done because those experiences have actually forged me to live a better life. As selfish as that sounds, that's one reason why I do it, is the feeling that I get out of it. And not only that, the perspective. It's like, dude, what the fuck am I? I have nothing to complain about.
No.
Nothing. Yeah.
So
that, you know, having a guy shoot a bow with no arms, or having a person in a wheelchair or a track chair be able to hunt pheasants, but they have to do it through a straw.
It's
You know what
crazy.
I mean? It's unbelievable.
See, that's
And-
continuing to serve right there.
Yeah.
Serving your neighbor, serving, serving the veterans out there, all that type of stuff. And that's talking about it again, like being a good person. And
Yeah,
you
man,
know,
that's a great point.
once you've had your help and are on the right track, and, you know, recalibrated or whatever you want to call it, you know, it's not just, okay, I got mine, now let's go off to the next thing and walk away from it. No, I believe, you know, you don't kind of owe a service to this to keep it going. It's the right thing to do. And, you know, there's more people that can benefit from it and learn.
It's like one of the biggest passions you can have, right? For me, it is. You know, we have businesses, and of course you have to make money in life to live. But our biggest passion in life is our charity and helping people. And we don't care where you come from. We don't care who you know, who you don't know. But what we do care about is your morals and your character and your compassion towards others. And when you bring that to the table and you can show that, and when you sit at the table and you hear other stories from guys like Bo, and you hear stories from guys like Beto, and just whoever may be there, Ben Davis, who has an incredible story, and it makes you become vulnerable, because those men will literally weed you out. Like, if you can't sit at the table with these guys and just be yourself and literally own the shit that you've done, whether negative, positive, whatever it is, you're never going to get anywhere, you know,
So
because it
true.
builds character in yourself. And when you sit at the table with us, you know, we don't normally sit at a head of a table kind of situation, right? Everything that we do is a round table, because we believe that everybody's equal. No one's different. No one's higher. No one's lower. You know, the boys might outrank each other, and they'll let each other know. Me, I'm little fish, but you hear you hear things like that. But when we actually all come together, it's a round table feel, because everybody has a voice. Everybody's opinion matters. And when something needs to happen, like, we're small. We're a small charity. We're very small, but fuck, are we mighty.
Yeah.
You know, and we will come. Like, it doesn't matter who it is, where you are, we're getting someone to you. Like, if we can't personally get there, we're getting Bo to you. We're getting someone. Someone is coming. So if somebody needs something, if somebody wants something, if somebody just needs somebody to talk to, we're here. We want to help. We want to change the world in our own aspects. And, you know, we want to create our own legacy. So when, you know, that day and time comes for us, it's not about what we had. It's about who we were and what we gave back. So
Yeah, man.
that's the footprint that we're trying to leave in this world. And, you know, that's
awesome,
the Parker
man.
family, bro.
That's why I support you guys. I love you guys, man.
Yeah, we love you too, buddy.
And yeah, if you have the means, let's end it on that note, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
This time has been awesome. It flies by in here.
Yeah, it does.
And I want to be respectful of your guys' time. But real quick before we go, there'll be live links to Parker's Platoon in the show notes. So wherever you're listening to the podcast right now, just open the show notes. You'll either see the website there, or there'll be a live link where you can go. And please donate if you have the means to donate. If you don't, just support, you know, follow them on Instagram. Donate when you can. Share it. You guys are fucking awesome.
Thank
like
you.
I said, I love you, man. I love what you guys are doing. I love the whole family. So
We love you too,
yeah,
buddy.
keep it going. Anything else? Personal Instagrams? Anything else?
No, I think just the charity is really the most
Okay.
important. You know, not here for ourselves, more just the charity, of course.
Yeah.
So
I don't even have social media, so
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
You'll
You're
see more
smart.
about Bo on
You're
my
smart.
personal social media. You'll see a lot of myself and
Yeah.
Bo and our antics together. But
Yeah.
our charity on Instagram, just Parker's Platoon, and kind of follow the story. And you always see my dad or Bo or one of the athletes chirping somebody else, and the van that
Hell
we
yeah.
got Bo there.
Is Francesca there
yeah,
too?
here she is with her tats.
Hell yeah. Fucking gangster.
Mama thug over
Yeah.
there, right? Yeah. And this
Super
is this gun here, real quick. Yeah, sick. Sig's Hour and the
Yeah, shout out to
SEALs.
SIG. What a badass company.
Oh my
man.
God, they
Yeah.
custom made this thing for my mom, and she about shit her pants. And she's like, "Oh my God, they match my shoes." I'm like, "Of course you want them to match your damn shoes, lady."
Hell yeah.
So just fun stuff like that, and thank you for everything that you do for us as well, Bobby, and being a part of our movement. It means a lot, both everybody here.
Dude,
So,
it's an honor. I
thank
wouldn't
you.
do it if you weren't good people. And
Thank you very much.
I fucking love you guys.
Thank you
man.
for
So,
having us.
All right, everybody, thanks for listening. Jeremy, you happy?
I wouldn't call it happy, but thanks, guys.
Hell yeah. Thank you. See you later. Thanks for listening to the Mountainside Podcast. If you haven't had a chance to do this already, please take a moment, follow, like, subscribe, or rate on whatever platform you catch the Mountainside Podcast at. If you'd like some more information on upcoming episodes, safety tips, access to all of our affiliates, and all the badass discounts that we get here at the Mountainside Podcast, check out themountainsidepodcast.com.